what's up everybody? Brooke here. I hope wherever you are in the world today is treating you well. Let me just fix my hair really quick. So I'm in my car, and I just got back from the store, and it's Sunday, May 5th. It's like 6:30-ish. And I wanted to make this video really quick because I've been thinking about this a lot lately, especially because I've been taking journaling more seriously. Every single day I'm trying to record so I can kind of have like a catalog of my days and just go back and review my days, see what I'm doing, seeing what I'm spending my time on, seeing how I felt that day, you know, seeing if I had any problems that I later on solved, how I solved it, all that stuff. So I really recommend, by the way, people journal, because what better way to create a book of your life than to record every day or record every week or every month or whatever, like to have something to go back to at the end of it. You know what I mean? I use a journal called Hobonichi, and it allows you to record a whole year using this special Tomei River paper. It's really thin, and you're just able to make a journal entry every single day. But that's not the point of this video. I really want to just talk about your life and your time and how everyone thinks we have so much time, and we simply just do not have the time that we think we do, you know? And it's about wasting your life. It's about the fact that your life is going so fast. It's going so fast. You're literally skiing down a mountain of time, and it's like, before you know it, it's over. You know what I mean? It's not to be pessimistic, but the more that I learn about Stoicism, I don't know how to say that word. I'm not even gonna pretend. It's Stoicism or Stoicism. The more that I learn about how we really only have the present, the more that I'm just hyper aware of what I'm doing with my life, right? Like what I'm doing, the moves that I'm making, the people that I'm around, the people that I talk to, you know, the things that I spend my time on. And I wanted to share this because being in the field that I'm in construction. For those of you who don't know, I'm a plumbing apprentice, a very humble plumbing apprentice, by the way. This field has really humbled me very much. The more that I talk to people, I meet all different types of people every single day, other trades, new plumbers that are on the job, going to different jobs, meeting new people. The more that I talk to people, the more that I realize that a lot of people are not living at their peak potential, you know, and it's not to be I don't know, one of those people that are oh, you gotta grind, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, you gotta do peak performance, right? It's nothing like that, because we're all human and we all have our own ways and our own set ways and our own ways of doing things and stuff like that. But a lot of people are either think they have too much time, right? So guys that I talk to, it's like the younger guys push things off till later, right? Because there's always this fantasy land, right, in the future that people store all of their hopes and dreams in, that they think one day they'll get back to it. So I see that side, and then I see the other side where there's older gentlemen, specifically gentlemen, because I'm one of 4 women in my union. I don't really work with other women, but I'll see the older gentlemen that they believe their time has passed and that they're stuck in their ways and that there's no changing it, and that the decisions they have made, they're in the spot that they're in, and that's it, and it's set in stone. And both ideologies, in my personal opinion, are both flawed, you know. And it's not to say you know, you could do anything and kind of be one of those rah-rah people, even though there is benefits to that, right? You definitely want to have positivity in that regard, but you want to be a realist. And I really want to talk about so the crux of this video is not to waste your life, right? And we're going to talk about the things that people do when they waste their lives, but just to get down to time, right? To what time is. Time is not tangible. Time is passing, whether you want it to or not, whether you're doing the things that you want to or not, and whether you notice it or not. So for the people that store things in the future, which I was a big one. I used to do that all the time, especially when I was going through really bad postpartum, when I was running my old business, and I'm you know what, if I could just, you know, I'll do that later, I'll do that later, I'll do this later, I'll get the body that I want later, I'll take care of this, that, and the third later, you know, I'll move later, whatever, right? I always kind of tucked it away. And what I learned when I really started to look into my mind and look into you know, just things that are going on around me, and really see, really just slow down. I learned that we literally only have right now. And there's a lot of people that talk about it, you know, you can't think about the past that already happened. You can't look into the future. It hasn't happened yet. You only have the present. And I remember there was a woman that I saw. She was I think I mentioned this before on another video, but she was my psychiatrist, and God bless her. I don't know if she's still alive. When I saw her back in 2016, she was 96 years old, and she had just lost her husband, who was also in his 90s, and she was still working, and the practice has since closed. I don't know whatever happened with her, but she was such a blessing in my life. And she told me, she was like, when you're having anxiety, right? When you're having like major anxiety, she's like, when you're driving, she's like, you have to think about what you're doing. And this goes, and I'm getting somewhere. You have to think about what you're doing. So like when you're driving, you're holding the steering wheel, right? You're looking at the road. You have to bring yourself into a hyper-focused reality of where you're at in the moment, because you only have that moment. You can't worry about having a panic attack, about swerving into a tree, about any kind of crazy scenario that the mind concocts, because anxiety is a demon, and that's a whole other story. But you have to focus on what it is you're doing right now, right? Like right this moment. Like right this moment, I'm making a YouTube video. Don't have many people that watch my videos, but if this helps 5 people, then I feel like I did something. If it helps 1 person, I feel like I did something. You know what I'm saying? But that's what I'm doing right now. And that's what I think a lot of people don't do in their life. They look, what is it? Thank God it's Friday. Oh God, it's Monday, right? Like they look at their life in a lens of a work week, and that's how they set themselves up for the week ahead, right? And they're not dreaming, and they're not like, they're thinking that they have more time than they do. And I can only really compare this to the fact that, like, the reason why it hits me like a ton of bricks is because in my life, I've lost people like young, like people very young that should not have died when they died. Like, for example, like my father died at 57, my brother-in-law died at 29. And you think about like how their last moments were. Like, they didn't know that, my brother-in-law didn't know when he got into the car that was going to be the last time he ever drove on the road, and he was going to say goodbye to my sister and my nephew. And my dad didn't know that, that was the last situation that he had. He had passed away from a heart attack and a stroke. He didn't know that was going to be the last night, the last Mother's Day that he was going to spend with his family. So it's like, when you think about these things, it's like, especially for someone who was affected by it, it really makes you think like, you only have the moment. You only have that. And now that we acknowledge that time is only right now, if you have dreams, write them down and figure out how you're gonna make them work. If you have goals, write them down. If you have aspirations, write them down. I don't care if you write them in a smartphone or if you write them in a journal. Write them down and work on them. And that's something that I learned years ago with like dream boards and things like that in a class that I used to take, and which was another part of my life. But I remember like I would learn the things and I wouldn't apply them in my life, and it would be very difficult for me to kind of wrangle my thoughts and be like, okay, well, I'm here now. Because I was always young, and I remember being, even when I had my kids young, like, I'm like, oh, I have time. And now that I'm getting older, I'm like, the time is not as much as you think that you have. So it's kind of like you're blinded by youth, right? You're in your 20s, you're in your early 30s. You're blinded by the fact that you think you're guaranteed to live till you're 80, until you meet someone who lost someone at 29, who lost someone at 57. It's wild when you really think about it. Or if unfortunately you have a loss yourself, and now you're like, wow, life is really too short. Like, life really is too short. Even if you live till you're 90, life is too short. And then you have the other area of people who are older, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and think that their life is cooked and that's it, and they're done, and they can never do anything that they wanted to do because now they're too old, right? Now they have it in their head, especially people who are under 80. It's like, in my personal opinion, like, as long as your body can move, can do the things that you want to do, as long as you can dream, as long as you're mentally cognitive, like, you can do it. You can do whatever the hell you want to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could write a book. You could pick up a hobby. Maybe it's hard to learn another language, but you can certainly try to. Like, why not? Why wouldn't you want to try? You can make a blog. You can do these things. And I hate seeing the optimism, which is always positive, right, from the young people, and then the despair in the older people. So you have 2 parallels of time. Now that we know that you can easily waste time, it's especially in 2024. I mean, there are multi-billion-dollar companies that are gunning for your attention at every turn, literally at every turn. Like, for anything, right? Like I'm in my car, I can look down the road and see a for sale sign, and then there's information on it. Oh, let me look it up. I'm curious how much that house goes for. Google it. Now I'm stuck on Google. Now I'm getting ads that are targeted to me, that because let's say I have an iPhone, I'm using an iPhone, I accept all the cookies and all the, the permissions that these apps have to record you, to listen to what you're talking about, to record your interests, to browse your history, right? Now you're getting targeted ads that they know will pique your attention. So now you have that distraction. You have the distraction of your family. You have the distraction of just the economy, which is, you know, a hellscape in itself. Like the distraction of politics. You have the theater of the news. Like you have everything going on that is grabbing for your attention. It is so easy to get stuck in rabbit holes, to get, you know, just to really like just spend your time on complete nonsense. We now know that the future is not guaranteed. The past already happened. All we have is our present. So what do you do to combat that, right? Well, you have to acknowledge what those things are that are going to suck your time out. Cell phones being number one, okay? In my personal opinion, I know some people obviously are watching this video on a cell phone. You can certainly, you know, tailor your use of a cell phone to help you, right? To watch informational videos, to do things with, like, let's say banking, or like, you know, things that make your life simple, but not to become engrossed in it. I was talking to somebody a couple weeks ago, and I was like, I didn't even believe him. I was completely floored. We were talking about the screen app that like records your screen time, on like iPhone specifically. I don't know if they do it for Androids, but he was saying that his daily average is 13 hours a day. 13 hours a day of being on that damn phone. And I told him, I'm like, that simply is not possible. He's like, well, I listen to, you know, music, I listen to YouTube, you know, whatever, like I'm on Instagram, I'm on Snapchat. And I'm like, but what exactly are you doing? And it's not to judge, it's just, you want to take an inventory of where your time is going. We know that it's priceless. You can't buy it. Once it's gone, it's spent. You know, once it's spent and it's gone, you cannot get a refund. You can't be like, oh, hey, this afternoon sucked, can I get it back? Nope. No refunds, baby. You know, like that's it. Like however you spend your time, that's it. And he's like, oh, I don't know. I don't even care. He's 20, 22, 23. And I'm just saying to myself, I'm like, 13 hours a day? Like, and I'm not a mathematician, you know what I'm saying? But times that by 7, times that by 52. Like, it's crazy to me, you know, like how much time people spend on their smartphones. And they can't even give you like what exactly they're doing on it. What are you watching, you know, 8 hours of reels? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you watching? Like, you know, movies? I mean, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, what exactly are you doing on this device? And how is it bettering your life, you know? And like I said, like, I used to watch like a lot of true crime. I really did. I mean, I have a video on that. I want to do another video on it. It really was like just, I loved it. My mom was a big true crime person. My whole family, like, you know, we're from, you know, law enforcement and things like that. And, you know, we were always like into that stuff. And it's because I watched it as a kid. When I got older and I discovered YouTube and I saw that they had true crime shows on, I was like, oh my God, like I would get like lost in it. I remember when I had my diaper service and I'd be folding diapers with my employees and like we're watching like crazy serial killer crimes and things like that. But it really started to take effect on my mental state. And especially when I had anxiety and like, it was just too much. But, that's what I'm saying, like, and I knew that was bad for me, and when I really, like, figured out, wow, for, like, 3 hours a day, I'm watching, like, Snapped, or, like, Who the Bleep Did I Marry, or, which is still a great show. Who the Bleep Did I Marry is such a good show. It's such a good show, but I can't watch it. I cannot watch it, right? But anyway, so I'm just saying, like, all that, because it's crazy, like, that was my thing, but what's your thing? You know, like, what's your thing that you're wasting time on, right? The smartphones, the apps, so like, not to get too personal, but I'm in an interesting situation in my life where I grew up very, very poor. Okay, I did. And I'm not ashamed of it. I feel like it gave me a lot of character. It made me very humble. It made me see the other side of life. There's things that it taught me that I feel like you can't learn unless you've walked that walk. You know what I mean? My father was sick and my mom was doing the best she could to take care of her family. And it was a whole story in itself. But I remember, you know, anyway, so I was a young kid and like, I remember telling myself like, I would give my kids a different experience, right? So like, I'm not like wealthy. I'm an average working Joe. Like I'm a blue collar worker, right? But my kids, they go to a private school and, the people that I've met are, first off, people that would have most certainly, you know, judged me as a kid. Like if I met, you know, you think about it like that too. Like these are people that would have never given me the time of day, whatever, but that's beside the point. But, people that I've met in the private school realm, I've opened up to meeting people that are into like the tech industry, right? And it's interesting to talk to these people and to talk about how they spend millions millions upon millions of dollars in these tech industries, in the, different apps, right? Like whatever, Tinder, all different types of app, Twitter, all these apps to get your attention and to keep you on that app. So that's where the advertisements come in. That's where like all of like the curated content based around what your interests are come in. And that is sucking your time dry. It is. And it's crazy too, because it's like a siphon. It's like, how is that even fair? If you really think about it, like, and this isn't to be an anti cell phone video. It's really just to be like, where's your time going? But this is a big time suck. Cell phones are a big time suck. And, these apps, it's like, it's so much money is going into, it's not even like, it's like a Twilight Zone. It's like the Twilight Zone. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you compete against an algorithm that knows you better than you know yourself, and that can grab your attention and keep you on that app for hours? You know what I'm saying? So like, my biggest thing with my time, and this is what I'm learning, and this is what I wanted to share in this video, is that I'm learning how I use my time. I'm learning when I'll go on my phone, or when I'll do certain things, or, like, what am I actually doing, right? Like, what am I, like, am I doing laundry? Am I doing, like, what exactly am I doing? When am I working out? When am I doing the things that I want to do towards my future, right? And obviously, like, we can't focus too much on the future because it hasn't happened yet, whatever, but you can certainly plan. Like, you can, like, no one knows what's going to happen tomorrow, knock on steering wheel, but you can certainly plan, you can certainly dream, you know what I'm saying? So it's just being accountable for where your time is going. Like, stop wasting your damn time. And, aside from cell phones, another time suck is worrying about what other people think about you. Let me tell you something, okay? I'm 37 years old, and I've been through a lot of things in my life, just like everybody else. I have my own story, just like everybody else. But I'll tell you, one of the hardest, most bitter truths that I've ever learned is that it doesn't matter what you do, people are going to talk about you anyway. Like, you could walk the fine line, you could be as perfect as you can, you could try to be as lovely and as charismatic and as friendly as you can. People are either not going to like you, or they're going to talk behind your back, or, not to say everybody, but this is just like, the things that you are worried about happening are going to happen anyway. So you might as well give them something to talk about. Like, when I go onto a job site, I have to assess, like, this is what I've learned. And it's been since I was a kid, since I was like in my teens when I started getting into the trades. But I remember specifically like being, okay, who doesn't like me because I'm a woman from Jump Street, right? Who's a threat to me? Like, who am I going to be safe to work around? Because as a female, like, you want to make sure that the person that you're working with is somebody that's not going to hurt you or do something that's malicious. Like, you're trying to hold something and he drops it, or, you know what I mean? Not to say people are like that, but you have to always prepare yourself. And then who's going to have ill intentions, who actually does want to work with me? Like, because I'll tell you one thing, like, me being on a job site, I know people say things. I don't give a damn. I'm not there for you. And that's how people have to be. Like, it just seems that a lot of people don't make moves because they're worried about what other people are going to think about them. And that's going to keep you in a gridlock in your life. And you're not going to, branch out, and you're never going to move, and you're going to be 85 years old, God willing you live that long. And it's like, somebody's going to ask you what you did. You'd be like, oh, I wish I started a business at 50. I wish I I thought I was a fossil at 50. Now I'm actually a fossil at 90, and I can't do anything. I can't do anything about it. So it's like, just stop. Who gives a damn what people think about you? Stop letting people, and stop thinking that you're too old to move, to make a move. Stop thinking that you're too old to make a move, because you're not. Like, if you have a heartbeat, if you're breathing, if you're able to walk, if you have the blessing of being able to walk, because I've met very wealthy people, not many, but I'm thinking of a couple that all the money in the world can't bring back their health, right? And, it's very much like, it reminds me like a Stephen Hawking thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, where you can be brilliant, you can be wealthy, but the things that matter you can't buy, and science can't buy it. And this is where, even thinking of God comes in and things like that. Like, it's, if you can dream, you can attempt to do it. And that's something that I have to tell myself too. And even making this video, I tell myself that, because of course there's parts of me, like, especially when I ended my business, I was like, it was a massive ego hit, and on top of that, I was going through like such aggressive postpartum disorder. Like, I didn't even think I was going to come out of it, to be honest with you, not even to be negative, but like, I really didn't know how I came out of it. Like, by the grace of God, I came out of it, because it was so bad. It was like, I was just like, this is going to be the rest of my life. Like, I don't want to live like this. Like, it was just so much. But I remember thinking, like, one foot in front of the other, right? One foot in front of the other. Whatever you're doing with your life, if I'm breathing, if I'm alive, I can dream. if I can still dream, I can do it, you know, and this goes for you. If you're going through a hard time in your life, just keep going. It's true. Just keep going. The time is going to pass anyway, right? What else are you going to do? Get lost in your phone? I can't get lost in this because this is the light phone, even though it's broken. It's not broken. It works fine, but it's just, I was about to dox a bunch of strangers to you guys. It's just cracked. But, you know, what are you going to do anyway, right? You scared to dream because, oh, I don't want people to think about me, bad about me. Oh, they're going to think bad about you. They're going to say something anyway. They're going to say it anyway. So I'll tell you guys, I'll share this with you. I was on, I don't want this to be too long and I apologize. I'm just kind of like on my soapbox. I put myself in a position to be able to be interviewed by a local radio station, or by a news station rather. And no one knew I was doing it, okay? I told 2 or 3 people that I was doing it. This is for my union, and I'm going to share the video. I was going to share, I have another page that I haven't posted anything on. I'm going to do it at some point, right? I'm going to do it at some point. Blue Collar Brooke, check it out. But I'm going to post like a little snippet of it because I talk about AI, because we all know I love AI. Well, we all know, like the 3 people that are with me here. Thank you for joining. But I didn't tell anyone that I was doing this, other than a few people. And as soon as I did the live segment, right? And I personally, I think I kicked ass and took names. That's a whole story. That was a whole story behind that. But definitely wasn't prepared. Didn't get any tips, nothing. I was just kind of like with my own, you know, gusto. I just went on and I just, you know, did the best that I could, right? On live TV. I didn't curse. I mean, I wasn't a meme. I did a really good job. The fact that I wasn't on the front page of TikTok, it really just makes me feel good, right? So anyway, because I'm a very memeable person. But beside the point, after the morning, as soon as it aired, I'd say about 20 minutes, 25 minutes, I started to get text messages. And my phone started to blow up. I started to get calls, text messages. My BAs were contacting me, business agents for unions. And I started to get people that reached out to me. And some people, they're like, I can't believe you're on TV or whatever, because it's News 12 Long Island. And, you know, people were in delis, like, you know, the construction world for, I guess, like, the most of the jobs, you're up early. Like, I'm up early. You know what I mean? I'm up, you know, 4:45 every single day. Like, you know, getting ready, whatever. I'm on the road at 5:30. So, like, you know, people go to, like, bagel stores or whatever, Starbucks, and they have this stuff playing. So I started to get hit up, like, a lot, you know? And I remember one guy in particular calls me, and he was a welder that I worked with. I really like him a lot. And in the back, I hear guys heckling me, like making fun of me about, like, and the guy's like, oh, stop it. She did great. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, yeah. And I thought to myself, and then I also talked a little smack. I was like, you can let those, you know, whatever, degenerates, I'll say that, which it wasn't what I said. I was like, they can make fun of me, but I'm laughing them. They're laughing from the couch. They're not making a move. Of course it's a person doing the least that's always going to be attacking the person doing more. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like, you know, you can make fun of me all I want. You can say I was a cornball, whatever, but I laughed everybody on the couch. I was sitting down just heckling. That's it. Like, where are you going? You know what I'm saying? So like, so I was just kind of like a long-winded side note, but it's just interesting because, like, you put yourself out there and people are always going to say something. Like, even with making like a YouTube video, like, I always have it in the back of my head. I'm like, oh, like somebody I work with or something like that's going to say, who cares? Who gives a damn? At the end of the day, who cares? Who cares? And people aren't like, and this is something, just something that I've learned recently, like, people aren't thinking about you or like trying to judge you as much as you think they are. Like, if it comes to their attention, they'll have a comment, but like, generally speaking, people are just inundated with their own life. They have their own things going on. So don't let what other people think about you affect how you move in this world, or how you move in your life and in your goals and in your dreams and aspirations, because it doesn't matter at the end of the day. What matters is that you fight to live the life that you want to live, you know, and that's even by having relationships with people. Like, just stop wasting your time on people that suck and that don't have your best interest in mind, that don't care about you, that are siphoning your energy, like, that are literally energy vampires. Like, just stop. Just freaking just draw a line into the sand and stop dealing with these type of people. And that goes for me too. I have, even like in my life now, like, I know that there are people that I really should just cut out because they're just energy vampires, but I'm always like, oh, well, I feel bad, whatever. But at the end of the day, it's like, you know, you walk this life yourself. You know, you're the only person that's walking this life. And, you know, in your world, Like, you have your family, you have your children if you have kids, like, the people that you care about. But at the end of the day, like, you came in alone, you're going out alone. You know what I'm saying? So it's about you and what's going on in your mind. It's not about, you know, extensions of other people that are using you for whatever reason. You know what I'm saying? It's just very, very important to think about. So stop wasting your life. Stop wasting your time. And stop thinking you have more time than you do, because you don't. Even as a kid, think about it. Like, think about when you were a child and think about how fast that went. It's like, whoa, what? I was 10 yesterday. What are you talking about? I'm 37. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. And also, this is kind of a side note. This is for another video, but stop trying to fight Father Time. He's undefeated. Undefeated champion of the world. Like, top dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not getting anywhere past this cat. You know what I'm saying? Like, just stop. Just stop. The women on freaking TikTok, on Instagram, 25 years old, 30 years old, 35 years old, sweating, aging, sweating. You should, oh man, like, I'll Google something to, like, get it. I'll be like, oh, like, when should I throw this palette out, right? Like, I've had this palette since 2015. I still, whatever, I'll, like, Google something random. Immediately goes into aging. Immediately, like, and all of, like, the suggestions pop up, like, oh, I noticed a crow's feet. I'm 27 years old. What do I do? It's like, dude, chill. That's what you do. Chill. Eat well, exercise, do the best that you can to take care of your body. Don't, you know, don't smoke, don't drink often, like, don't do drugs. Like, that's it, man. That we're mortals. Like, we're mortals. Stop trying to fight Father Time. And, like, I've made a video on Botox. And again, this is, like, I'm getting really far into the weeds, but just stop. Just stop. Anything you bring to the fight with Father Time is going to be, it's not even going to be comparable. Nothing's like, I would say you'd be bringing, like, a Swedish fish to a friggin' gunfight. Like, there's literally nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do. You can buy all the expensive creams in the world, pump your face up with a bunch of toxins that they you know, test on animals that are crippled after they use, you know what I'm saying? After they test Botox on rabbits that are left maimed, so you can friggin' pump your eyes up so you can look, or think you look younger when you don't, when you look like you just do work and you look extremely vain. I mean, this is, I'm not to judge women, but, like, ladies, you know, really, like, let's get it together a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, age gracefully, you know? Stop trying to fight Father Time. Stop wasting your life on fighting the inevitable. We're all going to die. None of us make it out of this world alive at all. Like, we're not making it out alive. So live your best life that you can. And this is even to say with people who are going through a hard time with, like, let's say finances. Like, you know, I'm in the grind right now. I'm in the grind. I'm an apprentice. Next year, my school's almost over for this year. For fifth year, I have to go to class 3 nights a week. I got 3 kids. I don't know where I'm going to be working. Like, I have so much on my plate, but I'm like, you know what? Like, with all that going on, I'm still going to do things on the side that I want to do to kind of forward my momentum and what I want to do in my life. And I'm not going to stop. I'm just not going to stop. And that's the kind of, because what else am I going to be doing? You know what I'm saying? When we watching YouTube, you know, when we be playing friggin', I was going to say Dungeons and Dragons, but that doesn't make me sound old. But what do? World of Warcraft will make me sound old. GTA is going to game. I don't know. Whatever the kids play today. Minecraft. I know that one. There's Minecraft. I was going to say there's, like, an alien one. I forgot. I don't remember. But anyway, I hope you guys are having a great day. I'm sorry for going for ranting, but, like, I make YouTube videos. I like to connect with people. I like to just, you know, I don't get a dime for these videos. I just like to connect with people and share my insights and my thoughts and, like, just motivate people out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's because I'm going through it too. I'm not sitting in like a mansion and, like, talking from my 5th waterfront property with a friggin', you know, I was gonna say a Benghazi, but that's not at all what it's called. It's a Bentley, a Bugatti. I was blending the two. You know, I'm not, like, you know, at this point, and I'm just like, oh, you gotta do this, you gotta do this, you gotta have good vibes. You gotta grind. You gotta dream. You gotta friggin' be realistic that you don't have a lot of time, and, like, you have to be really careful with how you spend your damn time, because you cannot, and everyone spends their time like a credit card. There's interest that you cannot pay back, right? Swipe it for the future. Oh, I want to get that beach body. Maybe next year. Swipe. Okay, that's a $1 billion friggin' APR on that bad boy. You know what I'm saying? You ain't paying that back. You can't pay that back. You can't get that time back. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I'll do it when I'm 40. You know, I'll do it when I'm 50. Shit. You know, whatever. Like, this little, I'm trying to make a cha-ching. I don't know. I'm trying to make a credit card swipe sound. But yeah, it's not worth it, man. Do the best you can now with the time that you have. Don't fight Father Time. Stop using your goddamn phone so much and dream. All right, I'll let you guys go. It's raining. I have a cat that is sitting on my car, so I'm gonna bring him in the house. But God bless you and your families, and I'll check you back again on the next video.